All right, welcome back. Massive day today. PGY went from $5 to $14. I didn't trade it at all. I thought it was so risky. I am only up $7 on it. Wednesday I had a massive move as well, but I did get caught in that backside at the end of the day, and I thought I was like, oh crap, like I get back a lot of profit there, and then here I thought it was like going to be too volatile, which it was, and I thought it was too risky, so I stayed away from it. But I was able to focus on TBLT and TKLF, which I was able to walk away with a nice $300 green day. So nice solid green day to end the week. For my stats, I definitely want to share this sort of accomplishment here. I just crossed my first $10,000 in cumulative profits. So definitely a reason to celebrate. I did take a couple minutes to go in the other room, blast some music, have a little dance party, and kind of celebrate for my first $10,000 in cumulative profit. But this is just the beginning. I had proof of concept, and since then, I've been doing this for about almost 2 years, this strategy, and proof of concept came around March or April of this year, so about a year and a half of practicing on small share size. And just this April, I was like, all right, I have it. I was, since just doing 10 shares at a time, I was able to stay profitable over a year and a half. And in April, I was like, all right, it's time to start scaling this baby up. And so I scaled from 10 shares at a time to 20 shares at a time to 50 shares at a time to 100 shares at a time to 200 and now to 250. And now I'm thinking, depending on how I finish the rest of the month, so far I'm doing really well in the month. Depending on how I finish next week, for August, I definitely think I earn a right to size up a little bit more like I did in April. So maybe right now I'm averaging around $3,000 position sizes on average. So maybe bumping that up to about $5,000 position on average and seeing how that works out. And just trying to get used to that, weathering a little bit bigger losses and getting a little bit more bigger wins and starting to scale up. I think I'm ready for it. Because the share size that I'm using now, around $2,500 to $3,000 position size, is proving to be very consistent for me. I think I have it under control as far as a risk standpoint. And just even my stats today from trading today, I have almost a little bit less than a 2-to-1 risk reward and a 64% win ratio or win percentage. And puts me at a profit factor of 2.86, with my largest loss at $14 and my largest gain on the day $95. So my stats are there. My stats are completely there. Now I think it's just about me just following my same process and still trusting myself and doing the same things that I'm doing now, but just with even bigger share size. And so that's going to be the next journey, the next challenge that I'm going to push myself towards, which will hopefully be, depending on how I finish next week, will be in the start of August. So definitely excited for that. But let's go through this trade on those trades. SDIG, I traded pre-market, had a nice pre-market breakout there. I traded the breakout, then traded for the break at 350, then got the first 1 minute pullback for a couple cent gain. And then here again, trading the breakout. Here going for some continuation, but didn't work out there. And on SDIG, walked away about $30. But again, it's pre-market, so I was trading a very smaller share size, only about, I would say, maybe about 1,000 on average, $1,000 position size on average, maybe less, because really my goal pre-market is just to get a solid cushion on the day, because if you can see my statistics, so if I look at days and time, I wake up at around 6:45 every day and start trading at 7 a.m. And so my statistics show that the best time for me to be trading is right at 9:30 to 10. or from 9:30 to 10:30 is about the best window of time for me to be trading, where I make the most of my profits. So that's where I excel. And so pre-market, I still do make money and I still do have an opportunity to get green. However, it's less reliable for me. I don't really make as much. And so I kind of use that time as a way, still the trade, but just try to get a cushion on the day for then when I'm ready to really nail it at the open, have those really good quality setups, lots of volume and volatility, the fresh market open, where I can get dialed in and take bigger risk. And if I have a nice cushion on the day, then I wouldn't feel as bad, giving back a little bit off the top from my pre-market. If I'm risking for a bigger gain, because at the market open, obviously we tend to do have bigger and bigger moves than we do in pre-market. However, there's always exceptions. There's usually can be big moves pre-market as well. It just depends what market you're in. And it kind of has a different cycle over time. Sometimes you'll have bigger moves pre-market, and then it's kind of like a dud at the open, or you'll have no moves pre-market and a huge open, or sometimes it's both. Sometimes, you have a huge, nice pre-market, and the market's still hot, and you get a huge market open. So that was SDIG. Then we'll go through TBLT. So TBLT, I knew this was near the all-time or the pre-market high. So I was looking for the break of the pre-market high. Here it got faked out there. Here it got faked out there. And then it finally curled back up, and I'm like, all right, this is the time. It's going to break 650. And I sized up into this move here, taking my profits at 652. It ends up being a false breakout. Thank God I got out. And then it curls back up, and now it's retesting 664. This is where I start sizing in. About $2,500 position size. Taking some profits there. Next pullback, now looking for the breakthrough 665 for about a $3,000 position size. And actually, this was a 3-cent loss in that level. 3-cent loss on 500 shares, but about a 5-cent win on 200 shares. So about break even actually in the end. Then here I did go for that pullback, reclaimed 90 MA, and was able to kind of scalp the range here. However, I wasn't really anticipating any sort of continuation yet, so I was just kind of scalping it. I wasn't really had that confidence to really hold for a long period of time, just because it was very choppy down here. False breakout here, and then you had a flush there, and then a false breakout there. So I don't really know how risky the stock is. And so I just resorted to kind of scalping through breakout levels on dips and through key levels of like $7.50 or $7 or half dollars and whole dollars. And that was really my strategy. And that's how I was able to make my money on TBLT. Here was a nice move down here, the nice dip. So I got in at 58 and taking some off at 66, some off at 54, some off at 60, which was a nice move. And then here you had a nice ABCD pattern. So here's the A, here's B, here's C, and then you get that breakout. Beautiful move right there. And I was able to scalp that as well. And then we went backside here. I actually gave a little bit off this point here, but this is a nice dip buy. If you could have got down here close to the $8 level, it had a nice 50-60 cent bounce. That's a beautiful bounce right there. And those are the kind of trades that I love to scalp. The bottoms of these wicks, selling some up here, and then waiting for that bounce and selling some more. It's a really good opportunity there. And then here I'm looking for a reversal, maybe for power hour, but very small size and a really insignificant TKLF. This one, pre-market was kind of odd. It jumped from 160 to 210 to back down to 160 and then back up to 210. So I was a little bit cautious on it. And then we kind of started moving up. And I was like, damn, this is stronger than I thought. But I didn't really get a hold of anything here until the open. Right at the open. Boom, from 240 to 270, one candle. That was just, man, if I got here for the break of 250. I got my first entry at 249, taking some profits, getting back in at 52, 56, 57. I'm like looking for a big move here. I had a little bit of a FOMO, to be honest with you. But I ended up on this first candle not making anything. I actually lost a cent, a little more than a cent on that. And here went for the first pullback, but I'm looking for a bigger pullback closer to this 90 EMA because I didn't want to take so much risk. It's so extended now after that huge move. But you never really get it. It kind of curls like a hook or something. Not really kind of something I'm familiar with. So I do take a small size, 1,500 shares. I scalped that for 1 cent there. That's only $15. Here, took a nice $5 trade there. And then we finally get that test of the 9 EMA, which I do go for at 64 and selling it at, so I accumulate at 61, selling some third position for break even, and then adding another 750 shares. Now I'm in 2,500 shares, and I start selling some at 64, 65, 69, and then selling it on the breakout here at 67, 66, and 66, but it was a false breakout. And then I get back in on the dip at 65, and then trying to see some sort of bounce here, but we never really quite get it. And I take it off for about break even or small loss. Then here was a nice move. I bought 1,500 shares at 61. Nice reclaim in the 90 EMA. I'm looking for a nice pop, taking 2/3 off for a 3-cent gain, and then I'm adding back at 67 for that pop, and we don't get much more. It ends up having a little false breakout in the 1 minute, and I take the rest off at 67. So a nice, from my initial entry, a nice 6-cent move. And that was probably where I made most of my money there. And here, kind of just scalping the range, buying dips, selling pops, buying dips, selling pops, taking 1 cent, 2 cent here and there. We do curl up. I do try to anticipate that breakout, but it's a lot of selling pressure, and then it goes backside from there. But I was able to walk away $112 in profit. So not a bad day, to say the least. However, it did definitely leave some money on the table. We did have pick popping up, but this ain't really good. You really choppy. Took like a 1 cent trade on that. 25 shares. I think it was like a boredom trade. TRHC also very choppy. Tried to went for that breakthrough, $5 real quick. Very small share size. It was just a boredom trade. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I finished up $300. So really, really solid. Really good week, really good month so far. But definitely better months ahead of us for sure. So that's it. Hopefully next week is going to be as good as it was today. And yeah, I think I'm looking forward to finishing off the month strong, and then August thinking about pushing my share size a little bit more, challenging myself a little bit more, because I don't want to get comfortable and stay at one share size for so long when I know that I'm ready for a bigger share size, but just I don't want to stay at one level just because I'm afraid of any sort of taking bigger risk or going for something and potentially failing. That's not how you're going to make it far in anything. And I think just having that faith in yourself and trusting all of those skills and all of that time in front of the trading screens and and spending all of that time in front of your trading screen, kind of just trusting that development and just going for it and going for that share size, that next level of share size, and just trusting yourself, trusting your risk management, trusting your entries and your exits, and trusting how you are seeing the markets. So that's it, and I'll see you guys next week. If you're still watching at this point, thank you for tuning in. Definitely leave a thumbs up for me. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I do one of these videos Monday through Friday, every day after the market, kind of just reviewing my trades and going through my thought process throughout the day. And check out the description for a couple of links, and enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you next week. All right, peace.